Today, we are once again talking about how much of a hypocrite Geoff Wilson is. He put out a video today talking about sports cards and their addiction, a very important topic for this industry. I'm very thankful that he talked about it. But what is hilarious about this and why I think he fails to read the room once again is because the video in question was sponsored by Arena Club. And when people challenged him, he sort of doubled down on the fact that that sponsorship was there. I want to talk about this because in my opinion, it shows him once again talking out of both sides of his mouth. And whilst it is an important topic to have, the fact that he's failed to read the room here, or the fact that he's failed to see that was inappropriate to have a repacker sponsor that kind of video, tells me that he maybe doesn't have the best interest at heart. And he's only talking about this thing because he thinks he has to, not because he actually cares or gives a shit about this industry. Now, you guys will challenge me on that. Whatever, I don't really care. We can talk about it in the comments below, but let me talk through my thoughts first and then we can get into it. Now, this is the video in question, Sports Cards and Addiction, what no one talks about. It dropped 2 or 3 days ago on the Geoff Wilson show, and he had Collectors MD drop on the channel, who is a mental health service, a support group for people that are addicted to either buying sports cards, gambling, or repacking. And he's someone that we've referenced a lot on this channel in the last few months. This individual has been, I believe it's Alex, has been on a number of channels. I think he went on Neo's channel, maybe even Dustin's. He definitely went on Sports Card Live, i.e. Jeremy Lee's channel. He definitely went on Boston Card Hunters channel and has done a really good job trying to educate people about the issues when it comes to these kinds of things, right? How companies like a company like Fanatics Live, eBay now through their bidding program, all these other businesses that offer repacking and breaking need to do more to protect consumers from themselves, because it's really easy for people to go into serious debt, as we've talked about time and time again on this channel, simply because they can just click buttons and buy online, and there's nothing within these apps, within these businesses' remit to sort of look after their own customers, right? It's very conducive to customers being pressured into buying lots of product and digging themselves into deeper holes, right? If we compare this to other industries like gambling specifically, a lot of these apps are forced by regulatory requirements to have limits in there. People can set limits, they can control things for themselves, they can put things in place to sort of protect them from themselves, right? And we don't really see that yet in sports cards, even though the nature of buying into breaks and repacking is very similar. And it's something I've been advocating for a long time. So I'm glad that people are starting to talk about it, but fundamentally that's where these issues come from, right? With these businesses not doing enough to protect consumers because they have no incentive to right now, because nobody's basically forcing them to. They're making money hand over fist and the incentive doesn't currently exist. Now, when I first saw this video from Geoff, I was a bit excited because I was like, great, somebody with a huge platform is talking about these issues that I've been talking about for 3 or 4 years now and have been chastised for in the past. You know, famously, Mike Geo grilled me for this 3 or 4 years ago when I suggested that we need to see a regulator come in and tell breakers how to do things appropriately. Now, what annoyed me was the fact that Geoff said no one's talking about it, because like I just said, I've been talking about it for a long time. I just referenced a bunch of channels that have had Collectors MD on, but he's framed it in a way that it's a new issue. This is not a new issue, Geoff, and that's a reason why you've had Collectors MD on, because you're basically following the trend. Now, what was really frustrating with this video in particular is whilst Geoff talked about all these things and gave Alex an opportunity to flag how this industry can be better and what we need to see from these companies, the video was bloody sponsored by Arena Club. And when Geoff was criticized on this in the comment section, he sort of doubled down on it, right? You can see one comment here, there's dozens of them basically saying the same thing, sort of criticizing him for the fact that you're saying, hey, this is a serious conversation brought to you by Arena Club. And it's bloody hilarious. But then when Geoff was pressured, he sort of said he appreciates the concern. Arena Club has sponsored all of the episodes for the year, so we run their ad no matter what, no matter the topic. He mentions this during the video, which he does, and sort of tries to justify it being there. I think getting this discussion out there, regardless of who sponsors the video, is important. Now, obviously, he got a lot more pushback off the back of that because he went ahead and said things like this on this comment and many others, that the Arena Club ad has been removed from the episode and he appreciates the feedback. This is just really ignorant on his part, in my personal opinion, because there would have been nothing stopping him from removing the ad in the first place. It's such an important conversation to have. He talks about this himself in the video, about businesses not doing enough and how the industry is conducive to not do these things, right? Because everybody's sort of getting into this business now. They're trying to do the sudden death breaking that we're sort of seeing now with eBay Live and all these other businesses, right? You've got all these things happening, yet he still thinks it's okay to have Arena Club there, right? It's an important message to get out there, so why do you still need to line your pockets at the same time? Was it because you're too bloody lazy to sort of record a second video? Like, if you've got a contractual obligation to Arena Club to have a certain number of video sponsors per year, you know what, maybe put this video out and then do this as a bonus episode and do the right thing. It just doesn't seem ethical, in my personal opinion, to take money from a fucking repacker and then talk about a serious topic like this in the same bloody video. Like, that to me is just highly inappropriate and tells me that he's probably thinking about the money first and foremost because he wants to get that sponsorship money and he's maybe too lazy to put out a second video that week. And if there is no contractual obligation to put out X number of videos for Arena Club, just put the bloody thing out and not shout them out in the same video. Like, don't you think that is inappropriate? Like, you're being very serious. You're talking about this important thing within this industry, yet you're still talking about, hey, go ahead and use this repacker, who again is one of the most notorious ones in this space for allowing people to sort of spend money without really much self-control, sort of preventing them from digging themselves a deep hole. You guys might say it's not a big problem. I think that's a problem, right? Because it shows me that Geoff is not thinking about things. It shows that he's out of touch. It shows that he's not reading the room. And this goes back to things with the whole backyard break story that we covered, 6 months ago, whenever it bloody was, where you had those really disgusting comments made by the individuals. And Geoff came out and sort of, said their apology was really good from the get-go. He didn't double down enough. He's somebody who has a huge platform, a huge following. He's got a card store. Apologies for my kids crying in the background. They're fighting, being little siblings. But he basically, has a platform, has an ability to talk to tops, talk to a PSA and say, hey guys, I've got a big business. I've got a big platform. I don't agree that you're allowing people like that to be associated with you when they're making comments like that. Do something about it. But the idiot didn't do that, right? Because he was too scared to lose his own money, or he didn't think that was the right thing to do. Like, that stuff to me does not make sense at all. And it sort of happened again here as well. Like, mate, there's nothing stopping you from, pushing back on Arena Club for this particular video. And obviously there was nothing stopping you because you've removed the ad now. So why did you not have the mental foresight to do that from the first place? I really appreciate him talking about this, but when you sort of see it happen like that and you shout out a repacker in the same video, it sort of loses the power behind it, in my opinion. It's like you're just doing it because you have to. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Do you actually give a shit? That's how I read it. And what's frustrating about that is because he has such a big following, right? This is on his channel where he's got 70,000 subscribers. The Sports Card Investor channel has a few 100,000, 400,000, whatever it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a lot more. Maybe it's a lot less. But he's got the platform. And when he's talking out of both sides of his mouth and not reading the room, it makes me really question, what his intentions actually are. It makes me really nervous about someone like him with a platform like that, not willing to speak up and do things the right way and what that actually means, right? Again, he's somebody that can make a difference in this space and he's not doing the right things. He's not doing the common sense things. And you guys might say, okay, maybe this was just a poor reading of the room. But I look back to the things we've talked about in the past around these backdoored cards from Tops. Geoff has a card store. He's got a relationship with Michael Rubin. He can see these things happening, but he doesn't really talk about them in enough detail, right? You've had, cards get backdoored 6 months before the release of a product. They've now made it out into the public. People are buying them with fake autos on them. They're ending up in PSA slabs. People are buying them, getting scammed because those autographs are not genuine, and he's not talking about it. And then my concern is trying to improve this industry. I'm shouting out up and down, stamping my feet, trying to say, hey guys, pay attention. This stuff is not good enough. These businesses need to be better. Yet him with a platform big enough to make a difference doesn't talk about it in the same detail. He talks about it out of both sides of his mouth because he wants to play both sides, and then we don't see any change. Fundamentally, I want this industry to be better, right? When I push back and say, hey, Fanatics, Panini, whatnot, all these other companies, X number of them, when I say you guys need to do better, that's not me hating on this industry. It's me wanting them to improve, right? I don't want to see collectors. I don't want to see people get burned. This is a hobby at the end of the day, and people need to have fun collecting. And time again, these businesses continue to shit the bed, and the people that have the power to actually make a change are doing sweet fuck all. And I'm just sick and tired of it. And, again, I like the fact that he's talking about it, but mate, you're not talking about it enough, or at least in the right way. You've got an opportunity here and you completely drop the ball. And it's, again, time and time again, very hypocritical of you. You're talking about these things. At the very start of the video, he talks about trying to, implement, or he's going to implement some changes with his breaking company, right? Because he's a, he's a card store. They do breaking, they do repacks. He said he was going to implement some things. He said that in the very intro. I couldn't find where he said that in the video. So maybe if someone can confirm for me down in the comments of this video where it was or what he's actually going to fix within his own business processes. But again, Geoff has come out in the past, talked about how he didn't like repacks and how he didn't like the breaking nature of it and the general nature of that kind of stuff. Then he's gone ahead and opened a card store. He's gone ahead and started breaking. He's gone ahead and made his own repack. It's like, practice what you preach, mate. Actually improve things. And people will say his repack actually is improving things. But if you go back to, a quote from Starship Troopers, right, where they talk about the only good bug is a dead bug kind of thing, mate. The only good repack is a repack that doesn't exist, in my opinion. At least in this industry, in the current climate, because it needs to be better than what we're seeing. And his implementation of it is not good enough. And again, we need discussions like this, but it's just not good enough. And it's time and time again from him of failing to read the room. Like, you guys will say it's just a misspeak on him, or like they just weren't thinking about it. But it's like, he's not a dumb guy, right? He's a very successful businessman. He knew better, and he still chose to put that sponsorship in there. And it's not a small thing, right? Because this talks to bigger issues, in my opinion. If you can't hold back from putting a fucking repacker in a video of a serious topic like this, what else is he not doing? What else is he not doing when he sees bad things that Topps are doing, or not good enough things from Topps or Panini? Is he also not speaking up there? These are all the things that you have to question off the back of it. And, you know, one of those ones where I just want to see, I want to see this hobby do better. I want to see this industry do better. And I'm getting pretty sick and tired of it. I hate the fact that, you know, I get perceived as a negative person for wanting these businesses to do more to protect consumers. You know, there's nothing stopping a Fanatics Live or a whatnot to say, hey, let's put spending limits in our app. Because time and time again, we see these stories on Reddit with $500,000 of people going into debt because they can't help themselves. And then you've got people like Geoff that has a sports card investor channel talking about investing. And then when he does talk about a serious topic, he says, hey, go buy from Arena Club. Like if you're somebody that needed help, right? Let's say you're somebody that needed help and you're addicted and you're watching this video and you're like, okay, this is really helpful. I'm going to go to maybe Collectors MD support group, right? The next one I think is next week in September. I'll go back to the Instagram page in a second. But you hear all this important stuff talking, and then Geoff says, hey, let's go spend some money with Arena Club. And you're like, well, fuck, I'm going to go spend some money with Arena Club. And now you've completely forgotten all about this. That mental, you know, process that he took you through with how you could get support is now gone because you've gone ahead into that company. It's just one of those ones, guys. I just don't get it. The people in this space are just fucking clowns. I just don't get it. I'm the one that's the bad guy. So, like I said, the next meeting is on the 17th of September at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Please reach out to Collectors MD if you need support. I just want this industry to be better. And I'm the bad guy for that. Anyway, like honestly, this is what it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, let me know if you can see in that video where Geoff said he's actually making changes to his breaking or repacking, because I haven't seen that in the video. I tried going through the transcript. I couldn't see it. I listened to it twice and missed it. So it must have been mentioned very briefly, or I'm just a dumbass, which is also very, very likely. So anyway, thanks, guys. See you in the next one.